teach you something called, what do you guys think? Substitution, okay? So we're still going to be playing in the world of two equations. So title it at the top of your journal, Substitution. Now substitution is exactly what you guys said. Exactly what you guys said. It's replacing something that means the same as something else. So we're replacing something that means the same with something else. So for example, we're going to look at a couple different examples of substitution, and then we'll go on from there, okay? Alright, so the first one we're going to look at is with they're both y equals. So remember, we're going to play in the world of two equations for this whole chapter, right? So here's your first example. If we have y equals 9x and y equals 2x plus 56. Yes. I want you to write down at least, I'll tell you when, but for sure this one. Alright. Yesterday we graphed them, right? We graphed and solved. Wherever they crossed were your two solutions. Today we're actually going to solve them algebraically without actually having to graph them. Now, this is called substitution. Now, if we look at this, we know that y equals 9x and y equals 2x plus 56. Now, this is kind of hard to understand because y equals two different things right there, right? But in order to solve this, the first thing we're going to do is because y equals both of these, we're going to replace this y with 9x. So we're going to do it like that because y equals both of them. We're going to do that, yes.
When you know what y equals, why do you need a...
Because so look, we're trying to solve for y and we're trying to solve for x. So the moral of this is we're going to get two solutions at the very end of this. We're going to get what x equals and what y equals. So, Haley, can you go ahead and solve this equation for x right here?
Yeah, subtract 2x from both sides.
Okay, so we get 7x equals 56, then?
And divide by 7, so x equals 8.
Okay, so we know x equals 8, so that's one of our answers right there. Nathan, how would I get y?
Just plug x back into one of the first equations, probably 9x.
Yeah, I agree. So what you're going to do then is plug in what x equals back into one of your original equations to get y. So there would be y's answer. Okay, so you plug it. Now look, you could also plug it into this one and it would give you the exact same answer. 2 times 8 is 16 plus 56 is 72. Okay, that's if y equals them both. And I got this one out of the way early because I think this is rather an easier one. I want you guys to try one on your own of this. So y equals 2x plus 42 and y equals 8x. Try that one on your own. See if you can give me what x equals and what y equals. Both. You're going to have two answers. Alright, Jaden, how did you set this thing up?
Alright, so I just did 8x equals 2x plus 42.
Perfect. Britta, how did you solve for x here? What did you do?
I subtracted 2 from both sides.
Okay, so you got 6x equals 42.
Yeah, then I divided it by 2.
Okay, so you got x equals 7.
Yeah.
Okay, who got x equals 7? Raise your hand. Good. Veronica, what did you do to get y?
I put 7 in for x with the 8, so I just did 8 times 7.
Which is?
6.
Perfect. Who got those two answers? Raise your hand. Good. That's the easy part, okay? Alright, now I want to get into writing out a few steps. So now we're going to get a little bit tougher. The first thing, this is recording, right?
Yeah.
Good. Ooh, that would have been bad. Alright, here we go. The first one we're going to do looks like this. Y equals 3x minus 10 Negative 4x plus 3y equals negative 20. All right, I'm going to write out some steps that I use to solve equations using substitution, okay? I usually think that these steps will help you. If you don't think they're very much help, just write them down anyways. All right? So step number 1. One or both equations have to be either x equals or y equals, meaning you have to have the x alone or the y alone. Yes, Joe. What? No. There's a reason why he's called Bill Nye the Science Guy, Joe. Huh? What? But he's not Bill Nye the Math Guy. Joe, he's Bill Nye the Science Guy. Okay. Weird question. All right, here we go. One or both equations have to be x equals or y equals. So look at this. Is one or both of the equations in our example here either x equals or y equals?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you have to have one or the other. Okay, either x equals or y equals. They have to be. Okay, just one of them is, right? Y equals 3x minus 10. Good. If that's the case, then you can do substitution. You cannot do substitution if one of the equations or both of the equations are x equals or y equals. And you only need one, because step 2, substitute what the equation equals into the other equation for the same variable. And I'm sorry, my handwriting is horrendous, but substitute what the equation equals into the other equation for the same variable. This should be substitute what the variable equals. That should say variable right there. Substitute what the variable equals into the other equation for the same variable. We're going to keep doing them right now. So look at this real quick. So substitute what the variable equals into the other equation for the same variable. So this equation right here says y equals 3x minus 10. So we're going to substitute what this variable equals. So this variable equals 3x minus 10. And we're going to substitute it into the other equation for the same variable. Because y equals this, we're going to plug 3x minus 10 into the other equation for y. So our equation is going to look like this. Any questions on that part? Okay, step 3. Solve for first variable. Okay, I want everyone to go through and solve for that first variable. I want everyone to give me an answer. Yep, I want you to solve that equation. Yep.
question. Why when you multiply by a decimal, does it get smaller? Like in real life, how does it get smaller?
So you're saying like if I go 1 times a half, it becomes a half?
No, like a
Or-
half, what, 0.5 times 0.6. Why does that become, why does,
It's a good question. I don't know. It's just the way it works.
Well, a half of a half is a quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you cut a half in half.
It is a little different, but it's true. All right, here we go. Cameron, what did you do first here?
I multiplied 3.
Good. Does everyone agree with Cameron on that by distributing?
Yeah.
Okay, I agree. All right, Becca, what'd you do?
Maybe for
Okay. Does everyone agree with Becca? Joe?
Yes.
What next?
I added 40.
Did everyone agree with Joe? Okay, Joe, finish this problem off. What does x equal? So x equals 2. Okay, so we just solved for the first one. Step 4. Plug back into either equation to get other variable. Write it down. Step 4. Plug back into either equation to get the other variable. Hopefully most of you guys already have that written down. I'll give you 30 seconds here. Plug back into either equation to get the other variable. And you're plugging it back into one of the original equations, right? So, Britton, if our answer is 2, well, let me ask you, which equation would be easier to plug it into, Britton, top or bottom? Which one's going to be easier to do when we plug it back in? So we need to solve for y, so we have to plug 2 in for x. So which one would you plug it in? Would you plug it into the top or the bottom? Top's a lot easier, right? Okay, because y is already alone here, so we can just plug it back into the top, and we get y equals -4 as our solution. Now,
plug it into the bottom?
you just plug 2 in for that, and then you'd get -8. You would have to add 8 to both sides and then divide by 3. So one of them, usually one of the equations is significantly easier to plug it back into than the other. So, and sometimes they're not, sometimes they're equal, but usually. Okay, any questions on that problem? Okay, let's do another one. You guys ready? You guys don't need to write down another one unless you want to. So I'm going to have you guys help me. You guys ready? Okay. All right, Jackson. What would you do first?
I would probably plug the bottom one into the top one.
So 2x plus 12 in for what?
In for the y right there.
Good. So he's saying he's going to plug 2x plus 12 in for the y in the top equation. Does everyone agree with him? Okay, the reason why he knows that is y equals it, right? Okay, Carlisle, what would you do first to help us solve this equation?
3 times 2 inside.
Good. I would always, anytime you're given the chance to distribute, let's distribute, right? So we're there. So we distribute because right now we're in the process of solving for our first variable, right? Okay, Ashlyn, what would you do next? Good. I would combine like terms on the same side of the equation also. That's perfect. Okay, Carly, what would you do next? Perfect. So now we're going to finish off solving for that first variable. And I'll finish this one. So we get x equals -5. Okay, perfect. We got one of our answers. How many answers do we need? We got to get y too. William, if I get x equals -5, how do I get y?
I plug it into
Okay, which one do you want to plug it into? The top or the bottom?
bottom.
Bottom, I agree. So we're going to get y equals 2 times the -5 plus 12. Okay, Ryan, solve this for me.
Alright, so 2 times -5 is -10 plus 12 is 2.
Perfect. And there's your solution. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys one more. You guys are gonna try it on your own. If we can get it all, we'll go to our homework. Sound good? Okay, 5x plus 4y equals 29. Y equals 2x minus 9. Stay quiet. I'm going to give you another 30, 40 seconds, 50 seconds maybe. Okay, I'm going to go through the list here. Maddox is, just correct me if I miss anyone. Maddox is quarantined. And Addison, Spencer, Ryan, William, Carly, Britta, Ashlyn, Carlisle, Dom is quarantined. Jackson is not. Brent's not. Haley not. Bo is quarantined.
Oh, no. He was here yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. Carter is quarantined, right?
Yeah.
Jackson Riddle's quarantined. Joe, no. Becca, no. Corey, yes. Lane, yes. Cameron, no. Cooper, yes. Nathan, Jaden, no. Good. Alright, where do we end up? Apples, what'd you do first? Good, I agree. So we're going to plug in 2x minus 9 into the top equation. Does everyone agree with Appri?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Raymond, what do we do next? We distribute. Good. So now we're there. Lydia, what do we do? 13x minus 36 equals 29. Dallin, what did you do next? Awesome. So we get 13x equals 65. Anna? X equals what, Anna? Okay, there's one answer. Addison, what do we do with that 5?
I put in y equals 2 times 5 minus 9.
Awesome. Hey, do you guys think if we plugged it into the top one, it'd give us the right answer still?
Yes.
Yep, it doesn't matter, but one of them is usually a lot easier. Okay, Spencer, solve that.
So it's y equals 10 minus 1, 9 minus 9, and then
Hey, I asked every single one of you a question today.
wow.
That's on me. I'm doing that again tomorrow. We're going to do this again and again and again, and so be on your toes. That was halfway exciting. I went through except for me, I didn't ask me any questions.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you're right. I actually like doing that, Nico. That was kind of fun.